Rest in Thee, a series of meditations for the restless. Welcome. Something very unique about Christianity is the belief in a Trinity that is also a unity. To say that you're a Christian is to believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. To believe that God is three in one. And so we deepen our faith every time we deepen our encounter with each person of the Trinity. That it's important to get to know the Father, to get to know the Son, to get to know the Spirit. Each of them is a person wanting personal relationship with us. And yet God is one. Always offering us the love that comes only from Him. There's something very beautiful about the divine life, and something very beautiful about getting to know each person of the Trinity. So wherever you find yourself, I invite you just to let your eyes wander about where you are. Notice the different colours, different kinds of shapes and objects that you can see. Try to find something shiny. Something with a texture. Something that's blue. Something that part of creation. Something made by human hands. And then just allow your eyes to settle on something that they're drawn to. You don't have to understand why you're drawn to it, and it doesn't even have to have any meaning. But just give yourself permission to rest. Rest there as you allow your eyes to rest there. And you should start to notice everything slowing down a little bit. Stay focused, stay looking. And when you're ready, close your eyes. Find yourself in a field. Nice grassy field. And on the edge of the meadow is a line of trees. And you see a man over by the trees. And so you walk over to him. And you notice that it's Jesus. And he's doing something. The closer you get, you realize that he's painting. And his face breaks into the biggest smile as he sees you approaching. And he beckons you closer so that you can see what's on the other side of the easel. And there you see that he's painting a picture of the two of you together. Just spend some time taking in that picture that Jesus is painting of the two of you together as he expresses his love for you. And he says, I wanted to tell you how much I loved you, but I knew that I could say it better if I showed you. Just spend some time with Jesus at the edge of that meadow at the tree line. It's this beautiful painting that he's done of the two of you together. And he loves you. And the longer you're there with him, the more you start to notice that inside of you, love for Jesus is starting to rise. A fresh love, a deep love, a yearning, a gratitude. You start to see what an incredible friend he's been to you. You start to see how attractive his way of living is, the way he carries out his humanity. Jesus takes you by the arm and he tells you that there's someone he wants you to meet. And you start walking across the meadow and down a little hill. And you see a cottage down there. There's some smoke coming out of the chimney. And you walk down to the cottage and up the 2 wooden steps to the porch. And Jesus just walks inside. And you're a little bit scandalized because you don't know who's inside. He doesn't knock, he just strolls on in. And then he beckons you to come in. And sheepishly you follow, not quite sure what's waiting for you. And as you enter the cottage, across the room, you see that there's a pottery wheel. There's a man working at it, an older man. Strong hands, shaping the clay so carefully. And the man turns the pottery wheel off and quickly washes his hands. And Jesus turns to you and says, "This is my dad." And he introduces you to the Father. The Father bends down and picks you up in a huge hug. And he's just delighted to meet you. And he thanks Jesus for bringing you down to visit him. And he tells you that he's making something on the pottery wheel for you. And he asks if you'd like to watch. And so you sit down and watch him get to work. Just notice how carefully he guides the clay, how well it responds. It's kind of wonderful just watching him work at his craft. The Father calls you over and invites you to share in his work. Just notice the fear that might emerge, or the excitement. He says he wants to teach you his craft. So you walk over to the pottery wheel. And he puts his hands behind yours and ever so slowly guides your hands to touch the clay. And as the clay spins, you're feeling more and more comfortable with the smooth clay just running past your hands. You know that the Father's hands are right there holding yours. But he's trusting you to touch the clay. And he starts to teach you a couple of different things about how to use the wheel, talking to you about what he's making. He's so patient with you. And he doesn't even seem to care how it turns out. He seems more interested in you being part of it. And for the briefest second, he moves his hands back from yours. It's just your hands in the clay. And it's terrifying. But you realize that he trusts you that much. He's been watching you grow and learn. And then his hands come back to rest on yours. And he tells you that he wants you to join with him in his work. Not just here at the pottery wheel, but out there. That he'll always be this close to you, guiding you, teaching you, and delighting in sharing all he has with you. And as you turn the pottery wheel off and go over to wash your hands, you hear a knock at the door. perfect timing, the Father says. Jesus goes to open the door. You're wondering who it could be. And even though you've never seen them before, the moment you lay eyes on them, you know it's the Spirit. The Holy Spirit. And the Spirit's got a bag. And goes and sits on a couch in the cottage and calls you over by name. I have something for you, the Spirit says. Just go and spend some moments with the Holy Spirit. Receive the gift that's on offer. And you hear some noises in the background and you look up and realize that the Father's lit a fire and the Son has made you all some hot drinks. And you just sit around the hearth of the cottage with the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Spend some time just looking at their faces and noticing how it is for them to be spending this time with you. Notice what's happening in you. When you're ready, thank the Trinity for the gift of this time. They tell you to come back as often as you can, that they love to spend time with you. They delight in loving you. To spend some moments thanking God for the gift of this time, the gift of the encounter with God as Father, Son, and Spirit. And when you're ready, you can return to the room. So thank you for spending time with your God today. I pray it's blessed you. I look forward to next time. Thanks, friends. I'm Catherine Kingsley, and this is Rest in Thee, a series of meditations produced by the Missionaries of God's Love Sisters.